So in our talks about how we became sentient, I hope in our last episode you understood how we've been kind of, I don't want to say brainwashed because that's the wrong word. We've been pretty much trained to believe that up until what we consider the start of civilization about 12,000 years ago, that there was this sharp cutoff. Before 12,000 years ago, there were cavemen who could barely get out of their own way. And then, boom, civilization starts. Well, I don't think that's actually how it happened. So part of what we were talking about is the introduction of Neanderthals. And you remember I showed you the Neanderthal brain, considerably larger than modern man's brain, or Homo sapien, me, you. And that was an important event. And at the same time, something else happened. So as I had said, Neanderthals came on the scene about 400,000 years ago, at about the same time as another event that changed Earth forever. And that is a new interglacial cycle. So beginning about 400,000 years ago, something called the Milankovitch cycle really got into swing on a regular basis. Now the Milankovitch cycle happens about once every 100,000 years. And the Earth tilts a little differently every 100,000 years or so. And for about 20,000 years, that tilt warms the Earth. All the glaciers that at one time had covered much of it begin to melt. And in fact, it melts pretty much everything except Greenland, Antarctica, and the North Pole, what we have now. And each of these interglacial cycles of warming happen at about 100,000 years. They last about 20,000 years. And whether it's coincidentally or not, who knows, as Neanderthals entered into Earth's scene, they become the first modern man. They can control fire. They cook their food. They apparently have language. They make tools. They have jewelry. I mean, we've found some pretty amazing artifacts, and there aren't that many of them. I mean, most of this that we know about humans, there's very, very little fossil evidence of ancient humans. And you know, one might ask, I got a note from one of my viewers who asked a question, and we'll cover more of these questions. If you want to ask a question, certainly throw it in the comments section or whatever. But one of the viewers asked me, okay, Paul, how come we can find tons of dinosaur bones, but we can only find, you know, a sack full of ancient human bones? And in fact, if memory serves correctly, the entire lot of ancient human bones that we have found wouldn't really fill much of the back of a pickup truck. And in some cases, we have made conjecture, we have imagined a species, and there's been a lot of species, a lot of different family branches of humans along the way, from nothing more than a tooth or a thigh bone. And we try and imagine what that person, that human, was like, because there's tons of different avenues that all kind of dead end here. But the reason that we don't have so many is because humans haven't been around that long. The entire span is about 2.5 million years, and the ones we're interested in, it's about 400,000 years. That's not a lot of time. Compare that to dinosaurs that were around 1,000 times longer. They were around 150 million years before the big asteroid came down, or comet or whatever it was, and took them out, right? Okay, so people that watch my videos know that I get off course. Sorry about that. We're talking about the glacial cycles, the Milankovitch cycles. So these cycles last about 20,000 years, and the first one happens at about the time that the Neanderthals come. And there's this 20,000 years where things warm up, plants grow, we have, of course, the animals come, and 20,000 years is quite a long time. Grasses grow, we have grazing animals, there's lots of food for people, and then at the end of 20,000 years, the cycle turns around and we have 80,000 years of ice. And it goes on for, well, every 100,000 years. Well, something happened at the end of the fourth of these regular 100,000 year cycles. And that something that happened is in an interglacial period known as the Eemian, which happened 100,000 years ago. We'll talk more.